Yad Vashem is the oldest Holocaust museum in the world. It is the granddaddy. It has the largest collection. It is an extraordinarily rich environment for those of us who teach about the Holocaust. You have seen almost, they would have been hills. There might have been a few houses lower down on the hill. But you can see how every bit of the space...
I'm Elaine Culbertson. I'm the program director for the Holocaust and Jewish Resistance Teachers Program. I've been involved with the trip since its inception. My husband was in the first group that came only to Israel in 1985. And then I went on the fourth group in 1988. We also came only to Israel for 3.5 weeks. We studied for 2 weeks at the Ghetto Fighters House and 1 week at Yad Vashem. In the 90s, the founder of the program, Vlad Gamid, asked me to become the curriculum coordinator for the program with the intent of having a successor in line. I'm the daughter of survivors. I was born in the United States, grew up on the East Coast, and was involved with implementing the first Holocaust curriculum in public schools in the United States in the city of Philadelphia. I think the significance of the trip is that most of our graduates would tell you that it is the graduate program. We are not taking novices. We are not looking to be Holocaust 1, we're more Holocaust 301 with an emphasis on resistance in all of its forms. And that really comes from the philosophy and the belief of Vladka, who early on realized that people's notion of what resistance was always physical resistance. And she, even though she was involved in the Warsaw Ghetto and certainly could be considered a heroine in the physical resistance, she felt that those people who continued to live their daily lives and tried to provide for their families and maintained a Jewish upbringing for their children, or who did small things to help others, were just as heroic in their resistance as someone who was using physical force. And through her influence, she was very instrumental in getting Yad Vashem to recognize those people as well, and in making teachers in the United States want to include that aspect in their programs.
I've already informed them of the bathroom. I'll make a U-turn over there. Okay. This program has been in existence since 1985. There have been many people that have worked with this program. One who has continually worked with it is the gentleman talking to Elaine in the back, Ephraim K.
Сколько он вывез?
She went inside the ghetto and she talked to Jewish families, and she thought that if they gave her their children, she could take them out and hide them.
He lived until 1962. His wife lived until 1967.
Actually, when we go to the museum, the second tree on the left, only one famous name out of over 23,000 individuals and families that were recognized by and like
each breakage represents an important crisis in the life of Jewish people. Imagine, the
May 1933, they set on fire books written by Jews about communism, everything that resisted the Nazis. They were set on fire. Jews arrived.
I'm walking on the Avenue of the Righteous at Yad Vashem. Around 2,000 people have been recognized as righteous rescuers, and somewhere in the neighborhood of 200 trees have been planted on their behalf. And these are the trees on the Avenue of the Righteous.
Maribel Villalba. I'm from El Paso, Texas, and I was just very moved by everything in the museum today. I'm starting to get teary-eyed just because of how I was feeling in there, especially all of the moving images. I think were really, really powerful, and that's something that, you know, as we who are studying the Holocaust and are looking through books, the images say a lot, but when you get to see these people actually moving and doing things that we would have done, but in horrible circumstances, it's just really heartbreaking, especially in the Warsaw Ghetto gallery.
Can you tell me a little bit about what you do back in El Paso that's
Sure.
related to the Holocaust?
I'm the director of the El Paso Holocaust Museum, and I'm fairly new to the world of museums and the Holocaust. And so even though I've come a long way in just this year and a half, it's just an immense amount of information that I need to absorb, and just something like this is so incredible.
And they just started thinking of it very differently.
Teaching the aspect of the victim and the way they hoped it would happen and their resistance.
I started to, and then
Yes,
by next year I will do so much
We
more.
read a lot of poetry,
You
we
know.
read from Teresa, and we also read You Bystanders, and If I Only Knew, and we talk about that perspective, and they get it. By the end of the year, they're like, you taught us this because I'll invariably go, why am I teaching this? And then by the end of that section, because I steal time.
We know that we're
Yeah,
great
exactly.
so.
But at the end I go, why am I teaching this? And they'll go, because you don't want to see bystanders. And I say, that's all.
But she did it, and I always have a discussion of what motivated her to do it, and why was it? Who was it significant for? Was it significant for her, or was it significant to the kids learning? Was it significant to the whole Jewish population in the large ghetto? Is it significant to us? And it is in every every circle. It is significant. Or the choices made by mothers to keep on maintaining a normal sort of normal family, right?
Yeah.
Not only providing food, but providing a warm home and family. These are like topics that are very important for us. Like not only a question of will I be a bystander or not, but also the question of like if you're a victim, what kind of choices do you make?
Yeah.
What kind of life are you leading, or returning to life after the Holocaust, which is a very important.
Okay, I'm Brad Sims. I am from Zanesville, Ohio, which is east of Columbus, the capital. I teach at Tri-Valley High School, where I teach U.S. history and a course on the Holocaust. Today we had a chance to go to Yad Vashem and basically talk to some people and have some seminars. And I found it very intriguing going through the permanent exhibits. Some of the exhibits they had were similar to the United States Holocaust Museum, but also a lot of different ones. And the way they portrayed them also played a factor. We also had a chance to go through the Children's Memorial, which was definitely intriguing, as it was solemn, it gave you reflection. And probably one thing that will impact me the most when thinking back on the day is just the presence of being there and having the scholars coming and giving their insight and giving us something new to think about, because I had some things presented today that I never thought about and presented on the individuals, the survivors, not always on the figures, but the survivors, and that's as important as anything else. So.
Like one thing really stand out for you?
I'd have to say the idea of going off on teaching the survivors, their stories, what they did before the Holocaust, and that they were people too, and making it more about individuals than it's about the masses, because I think the students will relate more to the individual than the mass numbers. It's easy to get lost in numbers, and going on the individuals is